All right, I don't know about you, but for me, it seems like every day there's a new poll aiming to predict what's going to happen in November. Am I right? Sometimes different polls come out in the same day with conflicting predictions. And many of us have wondered if polls are really the best yardstick to predict an outcome. Because think about it. When was the last time you answered a pollster's phone call? And look, I know polls reveal important data. We use them across this network to try to gauge what people care about. But the question is, as technology and methods change and as the demographics of the country change, how do polls work exactly? How should we be using them? And really, how accurate is this data? Joining me now to get into all of that is Roshni Nedingadi. She's a founding partner at Hit Strategies, pollster, and my pal, Alicia Garza. She's founder and principal of the Black to the Future Action Fund. So, Roshni, I'll start off with you, and my question is pretty simple. Should we believe the polls?
You know, I think you said it. You said we're using polls as a prediction tool. And I think that that's where we really get some of these ideas wrong. Polls can be used for a couple of things. We can use it to determine whether there are big shifts in the electorate when we introduce new information or when we're tracking information over time. Or we can use it to tell us whether races are going to be very close or a blowout. And so when we're looking at some of these polls in very close races around the country, it's hard to predict who's going to win. And polls shouldn't be used as predictive tools, but rather as tools to look at individual demographic groups or messages that are working and show what we think might happen among certain groups, but not necessarily predict what will happen overall in the election.
Well, I mean, for me, it's a question of, because when you think about how some of the data is gathered, Alicia, I do wonder, it's like when people call me from a number I don't recognize or an unknown caller, I'm not answering. When you think about who actually still has a landline, or if it's not as scientific, if it's just like, click this button on how you feel, I wonder if that's believable data. You're doing the Black Census project, which is crucially important. You need 250,000 responses of people. How do you gather this data, and how's it coming? Are people responding? What does that look like?
Well, absolutely. And it's so good to be here with you this morning, Tiffany. With the Black Census Project, we aim to be the largest survey of Black people in American history. And the way that we do that is, of course, reaching out to people online, but we also reach out to people in person. We've partnered with over 50 Black-led grassroots organizations across the nation to tap into their networks, people who generally don't get these phone calls to be polled, don't ever get asked what it is that we experience every day, and worse than that, don't get asked what it is that we expect or want from our government. The thing about the Black Census, Tiffany, is that we also don't just stop there. We use the Black Census as a way for us to organize, and we use it to set our priorities. You can absolutely use polling to understand the priorities of Black voters. We're doing that right now with Hit Strategies and have been so grateful to be a partner with them. But polling really can also be about building relationships and helping to build political power in cities and states across the country. But too often, Black communities are left out of that process.